I invite you to connect to your wiser elder self, perhaps your 80-year-old self. Hello and welcome to Say Yes to You and Why You Don't. I am Claudia Braun, mindset coach for women who are great at saying yes to others, not always as great at saying yes to themselves, and are ready to start saying yes to themselves. We talked a couple weeks ago about connecting to this younger self and what she wanted to do. Now I want you to fast forward and consider what your wiser elder self would do. I'd say somebody who 80 plus. And many years ago, I've referenced this before, I took a class with Julia Cameron. She has written a couple of really fabulous books, and I've been fortunate enough to have taken class with her on both those books. The one that made her most famous was The Artist's Way, but the one I'm talking about is The Vein of Gold. She wrote this book and she taught the class before she even had the book out. And it's a class that's designed to help you connect to your ability to write. And I've journaled since I was a child, and I was very interested in this. And one of the assignments that we had was to write a story to yourself from your 80-year-old self. And let your 80-year-old self look back and let her give you advice. So I want you to consider the power of this. My 97 plus year mother recently passed, and I know that she had wisdom at that stage of her life that she did not have when she was raising me. And so I know that there is so much that your older, wiser self has to offer you. And when you are caught up in the doingness of your life, the busyness, the struggle, the hardships, the heaviness, the worry, the anxiety, the fears, you're not connecting to the wisdom that lies within you. Because that wisdom, dear listening friend of mine, is there regardless of what age you are. I know that when I was taking the Vein of Gold with Julia, being in my 30s, it's very easy to connect to her because it's really tapping into a different aspect of your mind. And that aspect of your mind exists, whether you've hit that age or not. But when you're caught up in the busyness of your life, you are on autopilot. Just do it, make it work, and not really allowing yourself to connect to higher thinking, a more expanded idea of things. So today, this week, focus on bringing her into your life a bit more. Or just take some time to contemplate. Take 5 minutes to contemplate, to journal what she has to offer you. Perhaps bring up a struggle in your life, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's with your children or your husband or your work situation or just life in general. And what does she have to say to you? How does she view the situation? I guarantee her view on the situation is very different than how you're viewing it. Because when you are caught up in the busyness of life, you are just on rev. And when you are on rev and go, and anxiety and stress, you do not see a larger, wider perspective. And then you end up stuck in a rabbit hole, in fear and worry and anxiety. And life feels hard, life feels like a struggle, it's not fun, you're resisting what is, you're pushing against how things are going, how people are doing things, you're like the bull in the china shop. But when you tap into this wiser aspect of yourself, that vein, if you will, within you that gives you a current of inspiration, of more love, more appreciation, more gratitude, more perspective, it's like you have almost a buffer around you. And things aren't so hard. I remember when my mother was talking to one of her granddaughters, and her granddaughter was all revved up about a situation, and she wanted to make sure all the details were right. She was planning a party, and she was just worried about this and worried about that and worried about this, and just completely fixated on getting all the details right. And my mother's done many parties and done many events, and she said to her, "Don't worry, honey, it's gonna all work out. Just don't worry. It's gonna all work out. Don't worry about it." But her granddaughter was having a very difficult time accessing that aspect of her mind, because she was caught up in the got to get it done, got to have it look a certain way, got to have it be perfect, got to have it look, got to have it be for this particular time and space. She was pushing against a thing that had to be in a certain box, in a frame. And when you are pushing into the box, in the frame, has to be a certain way, has to turn out the way you've set it up, the way you think it should be in your mind, there's no peace, there's no joy, there's no fun about it. It's just struggle, push, worry, fear, obsession. But when you tap into that aspect of your mind that says, okay, let me see this from a different viewpoint. Let me appreciate what is happening, even when it's causing me to take a pause, slow down. Somebody doesn't show up in the way they're supposed to. Somebody doesn't carry through and do what they said they're going to do. Okay, how can I learn from this experience? What can I get from it, instead of it causing me to be revved, anxious, in fear and worry? Because that will undoubtedly, fear and worry is our lowest aspect of our brain. We cannot access solutions from that mind. Einstein said, the mind that created the problem cannot fix the problem. When you're in fear, when you're in worry, when you're in stress, you can't come up with a solution. You can bang your head against a wall, you can sit and look at it and think about it and worry about it and obsess about it. But when you're in that mind, it doesn't come. Have you noticed that when you just let it go take a walk, turn off your computer, go outside, do something different, talk to a friend, take a walk, sit down, do some yoga, journal, anything, something starts to rise up. You start to come up with a solution that all of your pushing, forcing, struggling didn't give you. So this is that. And what I love about this assignment, if you will, is it allows you to get a little bit more creative. It allows you to tap into like a story within yourself that wants to be told. What does this wiser self have for you that you are not seeing or accessing when you are so caught up in the day-to-day struggle of your life? What does she want to offer you? What does she have for inspiration, for encouragement, for appreciation that you are not giving yourself? Because what I know from coaching is that most women just push full steam ahead, feel like they have to take everything on, do it at 100%, and they have very little gratitude or appreciation for themselves, for what they're actually doing, for all the ways in which they are showing up, for all the ways in which they are having things unfold, and where they do put themselves out there, and where they do carry forward, carry the load. So I know that when you tap into this 80-year-old aspect of yourself, you will find a softer, kinder version than what you're currently experiencing. And what that gives you is an opportunity to experience greater peace in your life, greater well-being, greater joy, greater happiness. And as you have greater appreciation, joy, and happiness in your life, you're able to see situations in a very different way. And you become open to things unfolding without feeling like you're constantly pushing an agenda. Because when you're constantly pushing an agenda, there is no peace, there is no happiness. There is that strengthening, that need and desire for perfection, and then things never measure up. They can't, because nothing in this world is perfect. We are not perfect. You're not perfect. You're not meant to be perfect. But in fact, you are perfectly you, being you, with all of the imperfections. And that's what I know that the 80-year-old self has to offer, because she is aware of all of the nuances. This younger aspect of yourself is the one who is still caught up in the belief that things have to be and look a certain way. Have you noticed that when you are in that place where things have to fit into a certain box and be a certain way, your happiness goes out the window? There is a line that says your happiness, make sure I get this, your happiness, there's an inversion between your happiness and your expectations. The higher your expectations, the lower your happiness. So it's not to say that you don't have a desire for things to go a certain way. It's not as if you don't have preferences, and it's not as if there aren't things that you want to get done and accomplish and see through. But the more you have expectations of how they turn out, how the results are, how other people respond to you, what other people do, how they do things, how your children do things, how your husband does things, the more you have those expectations to be a certain way, the guarantee your unhappiness will be inverted. Because if your expectations are here, you can guarantee your unhappiness is going to be here. Because nobody meets your expectations in the way that you expect them to. If it happens, that is a blessing, and it's definitely to be appreciated. But knowing that as you do things, you're doing them because you want to do them, not because of the expectation that you get from it. All you are responsible is the work and the effort that you put into it. That's it. What gets back from other people, what gets back from accolades or response, is not something that is in your control. And if it's not in your control, your having a level of expectation is only going to increase your unhappiness and discontent. And the power is in being able to manage your own expectations and allowing yourself to be in that place of appreciation and gratitude. When you're in a place of appreciation and gratitude, you allow what unfolds to be perfect. And that's why I love this assignment of tapping into your 80-year-old self, because she has something amazing to offer you. And what I know is that it's an unopened gift that you give yourself by tapping into this, by allowing yourself to hear her voice, hear her vision for you, hear her desires for you, hear her wish for you, her expectations for you, and knowing that as you do that, you open up another window of yourself to be able to tap into. So fulfilling this challenge of inviting yourself to bring in your 80-year-old self really allows you to get a picture of where you actually want to go. You might discover things in your 80-year-old self that you didn't know about yourself. You may discover ways in which she sees you spending your time, being with yourself in a way that's very different than how you are now. And she has wisdom to give you. I'm really excited for you to tap into this experience and let me know how it goes. So, I like to offer you gifts because, like I said last week, each one of these is a tool for you to use as you are stepping into this way of taking care of yourself so that you can say yes to yourself in ways that you are not currently saying yes to yourself. So if you have not downloaded my way of managing your mind during these stressful times, I've put together a meditation for you that will guide you. And I'd say that it's a really great tool to use before you invite in your 80-year-old self. Let your mind go quieter, take your mind on a bit of a journey, and then invite in your 80-year-old self. It's like giving yourself a retreat. So I can't wait to hear how this goes for you. And I love hearing your comments, so please leave your comments below. And I appreciate your sharing my podcast with women that you know who are great at taking care of others, but not great at taking care of themselves, because it is something that we need to spread around. We need to be reminding each other, now is the time. As things heat up in the world, if you don't take care of yourself, you are just going to get caught up in the fire. And you deserve to be cared for, and let's spread the love. I am Claudia Braun, mindset and lifestyle coach for women, great at taking care of others, not so great at taking care of themselves, but are ready to start saying yes. All right, do download the meditation for stressful times, and I will look forward to being with you next week. Bye for now, wishing you a great week.